Trump just did the unthinkable. He hit back at China's retaliatory taxes with more force than ever before. Here we are now, seeing the markets once more going through total chaos. The prices of all the goods and services you use every day will change a lot, because the two biggest superpowers in the world are about to fight for the top spot and to completely take over the new world. This will affect all of your crypto, stocks, real estate, and the things you buy and use every day. And now, Trump thinks he has everything he needs to lead the US to victory, and China agrees. Right now, both sides are basically trying to call each other's bluff. Donald Trump's most recent news is that he has added an extra 104% of taxes to China, which will take effect today at noon. Completely crazy. They have now said that they are going to back down on this. If this isn't taken back right away, it will totally destroy trade between China and the United States. A huge number of people in the United States buy things from China, whether they know it or not. Because of this news, the first thing all Americans should do is stop buying any Chinese goods, as their prices are likely to double. And China is expected to respond by raising tariffs again, even though they haven't done so yet. They are now going to fight each other, which is going to be very bad for both countries. This will probably lead to a world recession and a complete drop in the value of almost everything. That means the White House thinks other countries need us more than we need them. It's very clear what they're saying and where they stand. First, America. If your country has been taking from the US through a trade deficit, we will not be friends with you until we address this surplus deficit issue and trade is more fair. This is what the US tells every single country. It's not just China. One of the most important countries will be China, since they have one of the biggest economies and trade with many other countries a lot. Would love nothing more than to become the world's main currency like the US dollar. Also, I want to make something very clear. The US and China both don't mind if the world goes into a slump, as long as it means they can become the world's most powerful countries and make all the decisions. Things are getting really hot. Trump is also making something else very clear. It doesn't bother him at all if this means Wall Street is destroyed. It's been said by the White House that President Trump will not stand for Wall Street running the economy. So Donald Trump isn't just going to war with other countries over money. He's also telling Wall Street and the big stock guys that they don't have a say in this either. Not a single person does. It does not matter if you are BlackRock. It doesn't matter if you're Grayscale. It doesn't matter to me what you do or who you are. It will cost some of you a lot of money, but we're going to try to put America first. You'll just have to deal with it. Pay attention. I believe we can all agree on this. In a trade deal, it's never good for one country to get ripped off. There are a lot of people who might not agree with how Trump is doing it. You guys are the only ones who can decide that. Please let me know how you feel about all of this news in the comments. Soon, I'll give you guys a full breakdown of how this is likely to impact the markets in the short run. But first, I need to play one more important clip. It's likely the most important thing going on right now that no one is talking about it. In other words, they are not even close to where they should be. This is the fight over the canal. China is using this river as a bargaining chip against the United States of America, even though they don't run it themselves. Guys, I want to play this clip for you quickly. Then we'll talk about what it means. We will keep the canal safe and open for all countries by offering the world's greatest, most effective, and deadly military as a deterrent. Panama will be in charge of this. Together with Panama, we will do this. We can take back the Panama Canal from China if we all work together. We are going to do this, along with other strong, like-minded friends and allies. This is what peace looks like when you're strong. In other words, they're saying we'll fight for this canal if China wants to fight us for it. To get it back for Americans, we're going to use the strongest force in the world, since Americans built it. Together with Panama, we will of course do this. All of this is agreed upon by Panama. This could be the start of a scary situation that most people would rather not have happen. And that could lead to a war around the world, right? Around the world, things will get very scary if the US and China start fighting over things like resources, land, and rivers. People will start to form groups and take sides, and then fights will start to happen in other areas as well. I want to tell you that there's already a big conflict going on between Russia and Ukraine, as well as one in Israel and many other places around the world. This is also the same. But now the US wants to get involved in a straight fight with China over something that doesn't really belong to them, whether you agree with that or not. It is over a very valuable resource, a shipping route, and an area with a lot of worth. In other words, this is going to be crazy, and we're going to see how it all turns out. But this is just one more piece of the puzzle in this story, which is still being built. I'll keep you guys posted. Be sure you're signed up so you don't miss that. Not everything is bad. There are also some good things here. Also, I want to remind you all of something important. Whenever there is a conflict between two countries, the markets always react with fear at first. This is true whether it's a trade war or a real civil war. At the start, there is always a huge sell-off or adjustment. You may have noticed, though, that it works both ways. You get a big lesson, and sometimes you're right back where you started the next day. There are also people who make money going down and coming back up, right? And this isn't that different either. People should know that if the US and China start a global war, it will definitely hurt the markets in the short run. When there is a decline or a bear market, people will probably realize they were too quick to sell and will buy back in the next day or very soon after. Also, these kinds of disagreements usually end pretty quickly within a few months at most after they happen. Also, that's a time when both sides of the equation should be doing well financially, assuming they were able to come to a deal that worked for both of them. That won't always be the case, though. One will sometimes win more than the other, and their businesses and economies will do very well while the others might go through a small slump. We'll see. This story's getting better. You guys will be kept up to date. BlackRock says it's still positive about stocks in the long term and thinks AI can help the US regain its position as a world leader, which brings up a whole other very important subject. AI's part in changing the digital world and making people more productive. Okay, so here's the deal. It's possible that all business owners in the United States would want to be much more productive during a depression. These AI technologies can help them do that. A lot of jobs that used to be done overseas can be done by AI that is made in the United States. In America, no one is really losing their job. Just like every other technological revolution, this one will almost certainly lead to more work and business. This is how I think we should look at AI. This is a tool that will help us all get our work done faster and better. Every one of us can work smarter and grow the business we're trying to start. In our digitally linked world, AI can help just about anyone. In the United States, whether you're a big or small business, I think you should look at how AI can do the work that's currently being done overseas and see if it can be done for you for less money. This means that AI can be used on an infinite scale, which means that companies like Apple and Nike no longer need to use cheap labor in sweatshops abroad. You can see that Apple is already spending in Texas by putting more than $500 billion into a mega factory. It might take a while, but they'll be able to do a lot more of that soon with automation. It's coming, so you should get ready for it. I also talked a little while ago about how institutions are being manipulated a lot. It's just that I wanted to go into it a little more. Well, what we're seeing is one of the biggest scams of the year that just took place. 4 hours ago, the S&P 500 was above 5,270. Now, people who bought stocks are rushing to get out of the market. A lot of people are moving with this market, so it's best for you to stay ahead of it. The S&P 500 can be seen from this point. It went up about 4.5% and then lost 2,500,000 in value in about 4 hours. Over the last 4 days, this has happened every single day, possibly 4 or 5 times now.